and welcome in to be our guest. You know, when we look around and we look at the news, normally the biggest headlines that are coming out are the fact that somebody has been shot, somebody's been murdered, and we seem to have a culture of death that's all the way around us. And it gets to the point where we almost look at death and we don't even think about it as being what it truly, truly is. It becomes something that almost numbs us. Well, you know, the same thing can happen in your body when you start to conceive and have a child. And our guest today is Susan Bunce, and you are the executive director of Sav-A-Life, which is now First Choice.
Correct, that's right.
And you've got both names together there. And you know, and this basically is Sanctity of Life Month. And as you and I talked early on, should we have Sanctity of Life for the whole year?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, life is such a precious, precious thing.
It is indeed. You're right.
And what's going to be happening during this particular month?
Well, we celebrate the sanctity of human life as the Sunday. Then that marks the day that Doe versus Bolton and Roe v. Wade.
Wow.
And that
both
was
of them.
in '73, right?
Mm-hmm. Very interesting story. The Roe versus Wade, in that decision,
Right.
the person that got it all started has all of a sudden realized that I probably shouldn't have got all this stuff started, and decided that it's not right to have the abortion after all.
That's right, and she did not have an abortion. A little girl came to her side and really talked to her so that she could see the sanctity of human life. It's just such a sweet story. Norman McCorvey.
If someone
right.
comes to see you, explain to us the process. Let's say I walk in to see you and I want to talk to you. Suppose I'm pregnant and I'm considering not carrying a child.
The first thing we do is we collect the specimen, take her to a counseling room, and a peer counselor, not a licensed counselor, but someone who, like you and me, because that's one of the things that I did when I first started with Sav-A-Life. But we share the gospel and just see exactly where they stand. What, you know, are they considering doing? And then in the meantime, the nurse is running the pregnancy test to see if it's negative or positive. And then with that, she will come in telling her if she is pregnant and really find out what she is planning to do. And from that, if she is in the realm of where we like to do ultrasounds, and that's typically between 8 to 12 weeks, then we will do an ultrasound right then that day. If she's a little early, then we will make another appointment for her to come in to have the ultrasound.
And basically the ultrasound really does show life.
Absolutely.
Right.
That is really where the
Yeah.
decisions are made. And that's when we love to have, if the baby's father is there, we love to have him come in so he can really see. And you know, many times it's the male who does want to have the baby, and then there's the opposite extreme, of course, as well, because they will say there's no way you're going to have this child. And we're seeing a lot more of abuse.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. What is the most effective thing you have found so far to keep someone from going through with an abortion?
It's the ultrasound. When the women come in and they actually see the baby's heartbeat, which is beating right after 5 weeks, usually 5 weeks, 2 days. We have seen it in our office at 5 weeks, 3 days, and that is just absolutely amazing. You just see a little void, and you can tell where the heart is beating.
And the interesting thing, obviously, is the fact that a person, before they realize they're pregnant, you're generally about 6 to 8 weeks from the time that you conceive it.
Right, very few come in earlier than that.
Right. And then at that point, when you can use the ultrasound, you're actually seeing the fact that there's life there.
Absolutely. And sometimes those that are just adamant on having an abortion, those are the babies that act out. I mean, you see the hand moving, you see sucking the thumb. It's just so cool. You see the legs outstretched, and God just does a little miracle right there to let the mama know that this really is life.
One question I would have is, if you changed my mind, then what is the next step for me if I decide to give birth, but let's say I'm not able to support and keep this child?
And they're
realistically,
actually, most of our patients that come in are in that category. we have a program and it's called Earn While You Learn.
Okay.
They can sign up to do that. There are so many things that they can learn, from the growth of the baby. What is the baby doing at this point in time? What is actually maturing? You know, you just find out everything about the growth of the baby. There are things about the actual childbirth. There's videos, there's homework, and then they earn mommy money or daddy dollars if the daddy wants to be a part of this too. And with this, and it's like Monopoly money, we have a store upstairs in our office, and they can come in, they can purchase whatever that they would need. And if they do, they really wouldn't have time. They could do 2 years worth of classes to earn this money to go shopping in our stores. And churches have baby showers. We did a life tree at Christmas for them to come in and bring us gifts that we will put in our store for these people to buy.
So basically, you can direct them to avenues, places where they will have
whatever
assistance
they need
in raising this child
Absolutely.
and supporting this
we
child.
don't just turn them loose.
Right.
They really need that support.
It's kind of like a hospice thing,
yeah.
you know, where hospice, after the person dies,
Right.
then the hospice continues with the people. With Save-A-Life and First Choice, after the birth, then it's not, well, we're
That's
done.
right, that's right.
See ya.
No, that's,
Good luck
that's,
with that.
that's
Right.
almost like we're the beginning, and that's where the toughest part is, because the
Yes.
question that Virginia asked is, well, that person's saying, wait a minute, there's no way in the world I can do this. So she needs the help.
They're overwhelmed.
Right.
And when we tell them that we can do this, it's just great. We want to really get the guys involved so that they can see what their role is in this. And that's a great thing. We do have men who have said that they would take care of the men, but what I would love to have is to have a man on staff that is there all the time.
Right.
That anytime, the first time the man comes in there, we can reel him in, show
Right.
him what we can do, just really give him all the tools that he needs. So that this can become a couple. I mean, we would love to have
Right.
marriages. We've had
Amen.
marriages
Amen.
Yeah.
within, I wish I could say that
Amen.
we did, but Young Meadows, because Jay Joy was working with a man, and he started going to the church, joined the church. He was very brave. He asked her in front of the church if she would marry him.
Wow.
Thank goodness he said that. She said yes.
That's amazing. So for our viewers, if you want to get involved with Save-A-Life or First Choice, you can go to your website, right?
Right.
And that website is?
Sav-A-Life-MTG.org.
Okay. for
Or
Montgomery.
firstchoicewmc.com.
Okay, great. And of course, as Susan was mentioning, the fact this is Sanctity of Life month during the month of January. Look for different activities through your church, through your community, but this is an area where you can become very vocal and you're doing it for the right reason. We'll be right back right after this.